Let's take a look at the basic structure and function of the esophagus. The esophagus is a muscular tube that conveys swallowed food from the laryngopharynx into the stomach. It basically just moves straight down the thorax, posterior or behind the trachea. It penetrates the diaphragm at the esophageal hiatus and then enters directly into the stomach. The way that the esophagus propels food into the stomach is by peristalsis. Here, the green mass is representing chewed food with saliva, mixed with saliva. We would call this a bolus. Here it's in the oral cavity, and we can see that the top of the esophagus is pinched shut. The act of swallowing, or deglutition, involves having the tongue throw the bolus into the oropharynx, and then constrictor muscles are going to push the food from the oropharynx into the laryngopharynx. The epiglottis will guard or close off the entry to the trachea, and the upper esophageal sphincter will open, and the bolus enters into the esophagus. From here, peristalsis will move the bolus into the stomach. Peristalsis is a muscular movement by which constriction in one region and relaxation in the distal region propels food in one direction. And so you can imagine that if we push food into this area and then contract in that area, pushing it down further, and so on, that's what peristalsis is, a one-way movement using smooth muscle. Once a peristaltic wave reaches the distal portion of the esophagus, the cardiac sphincter, or the lower esophageal sphincter, opens and the bolus enters into the lumen of the stomach. Taking a look at the esophagus in cross-section, we can see the hollow lumen inside the white area, and I also notice how, because the esophagus is a muscular tube, how it closes shut when food is not being carried within the esophagus. Right up against the lumen is the mucosa. This is the stratified squamous, non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelial tissue. The dark blue below that is the lamina propria, and then the muscularis mucosae are the purple circular structures you can see. The submucosa is the region in light blue. The two regions of muscularis are seen in purple. And here we can see the connective tissue coat on the outer periphery, the adventitia.